Many of the seniors we've featured over the years have earned tremendous grade point averages. They're state champions in athletics. They're all-state band, choir, or orchestra students. They're award-winning artists. But there's something to be said when beneath it all, or perhaps the driving force behind all the success, is a passion for helping others. For not only being coachable, but being a coach. For not just being a leader, but being a teacher. In this episode of Senior Spotlight, we travel to Lincoln High School, where one senior is forging future champions with the power of her heart.
Come on, Sid!
There's no shortage of team support at Lincoln High School softball games, where the volume is always at 11.
Let's go right here, right now! Let's go!
At this game against Brookings, a storm delay led to a defensive battle. But then, everything began to click.
We kind of started out slow. I mean, granted to Brookings, they're a pretty decent team. Being number 3 in the state, that's pretty big for them. But yeah, we started out kind of slow. Energy wasn't as high as we wanted, but it was probably due to the rain delay that we had. But finally, in the last inning, we finally hopped on and started scoring a bunch of runs. Ended up winning 8-0, but our energy could have been a lot better. But normally, I mean, energy, we don't really struggle with that. So I'll just say it was because of the rain delay. But yeah, Brookings is a pretty good team. We fought really hard. Madison had a great game throwing. Our defense was solid.
Working hard behind the plate is Lincoln senior Ashton Dorman.
She's really gotten a lot better at sort of what we ask of her. A lot of times in the summer teams, and I'm not sure about hers exactly now, but I know when she first got to us, coaches had, I think, pretty much called the pitches for the pitcher, and we kind of like to, as much as they're comfortable, we kind of like to have the catchers call the pitches so they get a feel for, I mean, the other one's catching the pitcher. They know what's working, what's not working, and they start to think the game a little bit more. Helps them when they're batting because now they're thinking along with the pitcher and the catcher and what they're doing. And she's definitely gotten a lot better at calling pitches. She was always really good at blocking balls in the dirt and framing pitches and kind of stealing strikes. And the other thing she's gotten really good at, and it's just because she works at it, is picking runners off of second base. I bet last year we had, just because they weren't paying attention and she could throw it down there and her throw to second looks just like her throw back to home, I bet we get 5 or 6 free outs during the year just because she caught them napping. So that's a huge weapon to have when your pitcher doesn't have to get an out and the catcher can get one for you. So she was always good, and she's just gotten better.
I love catching. It's definitely my favorite part of the game. I always feel confident behind the plate, capable of my abilities. It's fun when base runners are scared of you and scared to get off the base when you're catching. So I definitely say my arm is like my strong suit because they know not to get too far off the bag, otherwise I'll just pick them off.
If it sounds like or appears that she's a master of this game, it's because she is. She's been playing
for a long time, I think since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I originally started off as a third baseman. My freshman year, I played third base and first base and then occasionally caught the second game. I've only been catching now for about 3.5 years and just fell in love with it right away, put a lot of work into it, and I guess here I am now.
Ashton is the first and biggest supporter of her teammates.
We're looking pretty good. We have a ton of talented players on the team, very versatile. Very deep in our lineup, so it doesn't matter if we have a starter playing or a bench player playing, we have the talent in every position. We should have a good run this year.
A good run for a solid team. They've been to the championship game every one of the years Ashton's been at Lincoln High School, including her sophomore year, when a season-ending injury kept her in the dugout. When she plays her heart out, it's because she knows what it's like to not be able to do what she loves.
Personally, I feel like I've been doing a lot better than I have been my previous years. My sophomore year, I had to sit out due to an injury, but So the previous 2 years I did play, I definitely feel like it's been a lot better just from going from travel ball to school ball. It's a big difference, but being able to adjust right away has been a lot better. Just the competitive nature. I'm a super competitive person, and just being able to display it on the field is nice, and having teammates who are just as competitive as I am. Being held to that high standard when competing against, if it's a rec team or a high-level competitive team, just keeping that competitive nature all the way through.
She got hurt during the summer season, and kind of holding out hope that at some point during our season she'd be able to play again, and it just didn't pan out for her. But I'm sure she had some moments where she was down and not feeling great about it, but we never saw it at practice or at games or anything like that. And she was right in the, as much as she could be, her back was hurt, but she was right in the celebration after we won it, and all of that as much as she could be. So it was good. We got back to the state championship game last year, so it was good for her to get a chance to play in that one.
It boils down to a work ethic, a goal-oriented focus, and a devotion to the team.
Just always been a really hard worker. Never have to worry about her putting in extra time or goofing around at practice or anything like that. She's always just been a really hard worker and willing to do really what it takes to achieve what she wants to achieve, which is to be a good player and to go to college, which she's doing. And so she's been always a leader. Now as a senior, she's a leader for the younger players. And even her sophomore year when we won state and she was hurt the whole year and wasn't able to play, she was at every game and she was helping to lead the cheers, and just always been a hard worker and a leader for sure, and really talented obviously too.
Unsurprisingly, the drive she shows on the field displays itself in the classroom.
She's just kind of the same kid in the classroom that's kind of quiet but leads by example, and hard worker, and I think she's a perfectionist on the softball field, and I think she's kind of that in the classroom too, where she's way harder on herself than she is on her teammates, and we're going to be hard on herself in the classroom too, I think. But a good student. If you look at her GPA, you can see she's a good student. So kind of getting to know her as a student still, but just basically the same kid that you see on the field.
Phenomenal. Ashton is the ideal student, whereas she participates in class and she does everything that's asked of her in class.
And her choice of classes demonstrates her focus.
This year I am taking college algebra, AP biology, modern US history, and AP lit. Definitely just trying to prepare myself for college next year. But my other open classes, I'm peer tutoring, and then I have AP study to kind of keep ahead on my academics, and then I have open lunch. So it's kind of nice to have that break throughout the day with my high intense classes. But so far I really like all of my classes, and I definitely feel like it'll be a challenge, but I'm always up for a challenge. So
The peer tutoring she mentions isn't for everyone.
Peer tutoring, the students select a teacher and then they come and ask the teacher if they can serve as a peer tutor. And last fall, Ashton asked me before school was out if she could serve as a peer tutor for me in personal finance, and I said yes. And so she comes in as peer tutors come into the classroom, and then they help the teacher hand out stuff, but more importantly, when the students are working on a project, we're going to be working on resumes. I'm going to rely on Ashton to go around and help the students figure out, like when the top part of the resume, if they're having problems figuring out like the spacing, that type of things with the resume, they help out with that because they've already been through the process. Students that are motivated, students that have an interest in any particular subject matter, or they connect with a teacher. Students, I think, that grasp the subject matter and are academically inclined. Maybe not to be in academics, but they're academically inclined. They want to pursue academics themselves.
And if students do need help with something, then I can go help because I've taken the class in years prior. Well, I really like helping people and helping them figure out things on their own. I don't necessarily like to give them the answer right away, like I want them to figure it out themselves. As a player, I like coaching too, so like I coach our younger teams for the program I used to play for, and just being able to like take those coaching aspects into teaching students. I've always kind of enjoyed that.
So beyond a heavy class load and a grueling softball schedule, she's also coaching younger players.
When I'm not doing softball, I'm coaching. I really like to help our developmental programs I used to play for South Dakota Renegades, so I help with their developmental programs, teaching the kids how to play the game the right way in a respectful manner. But yeah, just giving my time to younger children who want to learn the game that I love so much, it's definitely been fun.
Her upcoming after-school job choice will also include helping others.
I plan on applying to work for Kids Inc. During the school year. I need an after-school job, but at the same time I love working with kids, so I feel like it'd be a great fit for me.
When you add all of this together, an advanced placement scholar, a championship caliber softball player, a peer tutor, a coach, an invaluable teammate, it means you get noticed. But she won't be the one to tell you that.
I knew that she was a softball player, but if you were to meet Ashton, you would not know that. I think softball came up in class because she kept wearing different hoodies. And one day I asked her, I said, hey, why are you, something to the degree of, why are you wearing all of these different hoodies? And Ashton actually comes across as kind of very quiet, maybe not shy, but very reserved. And when I asked her that, she said, well, I visited all these colleges. And then she offered that she was being recruited by these different colleges. And then she kind of came out and said that she was actually very good at softball. And I knew she was good at softball, but I didn't know how exceptional she was at softball. And she kind of told me then, but she certainly didn't volunteer it. If she is as good at softball as she is as a student, I think she's probably phenomenal, because in class, everything I asked her to do, she accomplished. She helped out with others. Even when we had our masks on last year, you could just tell by the gleam in her eye that she was just on a quest for knowledge. If she didn't understand something, she asked.
Ashton's future will take her to Augustana University.
I first heard from Augie on June 15th of my sophomore year, and I wanted to wait out. I definitely had an interest in Augie. They just have a great program, great school. I love the people there. It's home, very small campus, but September 1st was when Division I recruiting could start, and I wanted to play it out, and I didn't commit to Augie until June 3rd this year, just because I was playing it out with a Division I school, but in the end, I realized that Augie was the best fit for me and my family.
I would assume they're still thinking that she's going to catch, although sometimes in college they move you around, so you never know. And she's played third for us, and she's played first for us, and I think she would be fine at either one of those. They're going to find a spot for her because she has a huge bat. So whenever you have, especially Coach Milstead over there likes the players that can hit the ball over the fence, and that's Ashton, and so they'll find a spot for her somewhere, whether it's on the corners or I would assume they're going to try her at catcher, but I don't really know that for sure. But I think she'll keep working, so she's got, I think, a kind of an unlimited future there.
Her unlimited future includes more grueling classes and, you guessed it, ultimately helping others.
My future plans next year, I will be studying biochemistry at Augustana. I'm also going to be playing softball there. So basically, biochemistry, it's an intense major, so just kind of trying to prepare myself for those high intense classes that I'm going to have to take next year, kind of incorporating it into this year, just being ready mentally and physically in the classroom. In these high intense classes, my softball skills and competitive nature, I guess, have definitely helped me in these classes, just always keeping myself to this high standard and don't really settle for the bare minimum, always try to go up and beyond. I've definitely thought about pharmaceutical stuff or speech pathology, just kind of that helping people.
If that were all, it would be more than enough to impress. But of course it isn't. Ashton is also fully bilingual, having been enrolled throughout her academic career in the Sioux Falls School District's Spanish Immersion Program.
I went to Rosa Parks. I was in the Spanish Immersion Program. Middle school, I went to Edison, continued with my Spanish Immersion Program. Very thankful for it. I have the opportunity to do whatever I want, I guess, with the language.
Humility is the word that keeps popping up when we talk to people about Ashton. so it's natural that she'd credit coaches and teachers with helping her along the way.
Michael Mook, he really gave me the opportunity to play for the South Dakota Renegades and really built me to be the player I am today. Without him, I wouldn't be where I'm at. He coached me for about 5 years, and then he took the head coaching job down at West Texas A&M, which was great for him. But yeah, like, I wouldn't be the player I am today without him. He's done so much for me and believed in me when no one else really did. And then I would have to say Kelsey Thompson. She coached my team last year. She's always had great confidence in me, and what's nice is she'll also be the assistant coach at Augie when I am there. So I get to play under her again, and it's the same skill set with Coach Mook. They both taught me the same exact thing, so it's nice to be able to have that skill set and know what it is before I get into college. Teachers, I would probably have to say Mr. Jones. He makes class fun, and I like it when class is fun and it's not just a bore having to take notes. We did a ton of fun activities, and I definitely felt like when I was struggling with something, I could always go up to him and ask him what I needed to do, and he always gave me the correct feedback. So.
And of course, her family.
Definitely my whole family, but mainly my parents. Without them, I wouldn't be able to be where I'm at. They push me to be the player and person I am. They've taught me that nature of never to settle for what you have and always push for more. Yeah, from having to take me all around the country to play, and then the opportunities they have provided me, it's been crazy. And just having my little sister too by my side, just knowing that I'm her role model, so I need to hold myself to a high standard.
That standard she holds herself to could be considered a yardstick for everyone who follows, and the greatest predictor of her brilliant future.
One of the things that we've been lucky enough to kind of cultivate at Lincoln with our with the softball program is that we try to be all one team and not just have a JV that's over here and we never see them, in a varsity and they never see them. And the girls have really taken to that, and this senior class has really helped that along. And so one of the early practices this fall, it's still summer, I guess, one of the early practices, she just kind of said in front of everybody, the new players and varsity JV, everybody, that one of the reasons that we've had the success that we've had her 3 years here, so I mean, we've come in second twice and won it once with her class. One of the reasons for that success, she told everybody, was because we're a family, and because we all look out for each other and we all help each other. It doesn't matter if you're a senior or a freshman or if you're starting on varsity or a reserve on JV, it doesn't matter. We all got the same uniform on, we're all the same team, we all help each other, we all look out for each other. And so, so just letting the younger players know that they're there for them and they're going to help them out. And so sometimes, as a senior, she's been a little more vocal sometimes in her leadership of saying, look, this is how we do it at Lincoln, this isn't how we do it, something we don't do. In the past, it was, she let the older players lead vocally, but if you watched her, she was always doing the right things and leading by example. She's just a really unselfish, I guess, star, if you want to say that. She would be uncomfortable with me saying that she's a star. I mean, she's really humble, and she's stayed humble, and she's had a lot of success, but she's unselfish, and like I said, we'll do whatever she can for somebody else. So just a good, hardworking kid.
I'd say her possibilities are endless, and I say that. I look at Ashton kind of, I have 3 daughters also, and I look at Ashton kind of the way I look at my daughters. I think Ashton has a strong foundation. She was raised in a good family. She has, I look at my daughters that they conduct themselves properly out in public. I mean, she's very, very polite. She has strong values, I think. And I think those are the things that are going to carry her. The thing I can say about Ashton, besides for her academic commitment, her ability to play softball at a higher level, besides all of that, I think that Ashton is just a very kind person. She's a very nice person. And I think that's probably at the end of the day that the nicest thing you can say about someone is that they're just a very nice person. And I really do see that in Ashton. She's going to go on to Augie, And I think that the sky is the limit for her, because at the end of the day, she cares about others. And I think that she has the commitment in herself, the commitment in her ability, and the commitment to work really, really hard for what she wants, and that's going to make her successful.
Sometimes success looks like someone quietly, carefully getting her work done in the classroom. And sometimes it looks like a 3-run homer against one of the best teams in the state.
Kind of whatever she wants to do, I think she's going to be well equipped to do it. Because she's not afraid to work, and so when you're not afraid to put in the work, you can accomplish a lot. And I mean, she's had a dream, and she's close to achieving that dream, and then there'll be something else. And I think just her hard work and her willingness to do that and to persevere and go through the injury that she's gone through and all of that stuff. I mean, she'll be. Whatever she does, she'll be a great asset to the community. She's going to be a role model for somebody. I'm not sure exactly what she's going to do, but I'm sure whatever it is, she'll be good at it.